Dirty fireworks.
Frieza!
Is Kakarot a Super Saiyan?
You have to be killed and by me!
Allow me to release the power resting deep inside you.
Goku, listen to me. This is the strongest and fiercest opponent you could ever face.
Kakarot, you finally show your face.
Kakarot! What is that form?
I am the Super Saiyan, Son Goku!
The last time we opened Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, Earth had just survived its greatest battle yet. The Saiyans came and shattered everything. Bonds, bodies, beliefs. Goku's entire world was flipped upside down. The team had the numbers, but it didn't matter. Only 3 walked away from the carnage. Gohan, Krillin, and Goku. Now, before the journey to Namek begins, we're given time to breathe. Time for something this game does surprisingly well. Quietness. The intermission sections give us side quests, little glimpses of the life between the wars, and here we step into Gohan's shoes once again. The first quest is small but beautiful moments shared with the Ox King and Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi, heart heavy, is struggling. Her 5-year-old son just came back from a giant battle. He's about to leave again to a new planet, and there's nothing she can do. Gohan notices something's wrong, and he doesn't fully understand it, but he asks his grandfather for some help. Together they gather ingredients that she had mentioned to him earlier. Gohan thinks it's just an errand, but in truth she was preparing his favorite meal. A quiet goodbye dressed up as a dinner. Yes, it's a fetch quest, but it's a nice little soft story for the Sun household that we don't really see much often. And here is where we see something great. Gohan, once scared to sleep alone in the wilderness, is now talking about his duty. He tells the Ox King and his mom that he has to go to Namek, that he owes it to his friends. In just 1 year, Piccolo didn't train a fighter. He helped shape the warrior that we know Gohan to be. The next quest is lighter, pure Dragon Ball nonsense in the best way, while catching Krillin being a gooner with...
Watch this, Lise. You can actually pinpoint the second when his heart rips in half. And now.
Master Roshi's magazines, Krillin tries to hide his shame by telling Gohan he was simply image training. The two try to practice this, and we're accidentally given a battle with Nappa, after Gohan mistakes him for both having bald heads. He's sparring against a memory. It's a really silly, fun quest, but it really works here. It helps kind of give an idea of how they learned how to image train while going to Namek. Still, I would really had hoped that they gave us that Ghost Raditz scene. Vegeta, now recovered in space, is stronger than ever thanks to the Zenkai boost he got from the battle on Earth. Kui tells him Frieza's already en route to Namek. He knows about the Dragon Balls and he wants immortality. Learned about them through the Scouter's transmissions. Here's the irony on this all. If Vegeta had just turned off the Scouter, the whole race for power might have never happened. But now it's too late. 3 teams, 1 goal, Vegeta, Frieza, and Earth's last hopes, Gohan and Krillin. When we land on Namek, we finally meet Frieza, and it's horrifying. His soldiers have already begun the massacre. Namekian bodies litter the ground, their sacred Dragon Balls stolen. Frieza doesn't see a people, he just sees a wish. Bulma prepares to return to Earth to get Goku, but before she can port the ship, 2 Frieza Force soldiers punch a hole through its hull. Gohan and Krillin rush to stop them, and Zarbon's Scouter catches the spike in power. And this is where the game quietly shows us something important here. Ki control is everything. It's not just a mechanic, it's survival. Earthlings don't have Frieza's strength, but they have the discipline to suppress their energy, and that alone is what keeps them alive throughout Namek. We shift perspectives, and in my surprise, gain control of Vegeta. I was worried we'd have to wait until the Android Saga, but the game gives us Vegeta pretty early. We're given another destructible object just like the Red Ribbon Army bases on Earth, but the real moment here is when we fight Kui. Vegeta's learned to suppress and mask his power level just from fighting Goku and the Earthlings one time. When he flares his energy, the planet shudders, Scouters snap. Kui realizes too late that he never stood a chance. Vegeta mentions his Zenkai boost, Saiyan biology, pain turned into power, and in 2 moves, a very fast boss battle, Vegeta erases Kui.
You're not going anywhere! Dirty fireworks.
Sends a message to Zarbon, to Dodoria, and to Frieza. He's not the obedient lapdog anymore. We cut back to Gohan and Krillin. Flight and ki attacks are completely stripped away from us. You're grounded and you're forced to sneak around. I love that this game does this in these important scenes, making you go from feeling like a god to someone who is just an earthling. You're stripped away from your strength, you just feel small. They find a cave to hide in, but it's too late. A dark energy floods the sky. A fleet of Frieza's men descend and their leader is close. So powerful it makes the air thin. They have the Dragon Balls and our heroes realize just how outmatched they really are. Goku finally learns what's happening. He rushes to Capsule Corp, and here's a perfect bit of symbolism. They're modifying the ship that brought him to Earth and to now carry him to Namek. From exile to savior, the Saiyan pod becomes the vessel of hope instead of the destruction that it was originally created waited for. Meanwhile, Gohan and Krillin find a group of Namekians being slaughtered by Frieza's men, elders, children, warriors, all torn apart just for standing in the way. One elder makes a last effort. He destroyed their scouters in a final act of defiance, and then Midoriya enters. He kills the elder and sets his sight on Dende. And Gohan? He snaps. In Dende, he sees a version of himself, the scared child Piccolo threw into the wilderness, powerless and terrified. Our young warrior flies in and punches Midoriya with everything he has. And then a fight plays out? It's strange, Kakarot sometimes picks odd moments to turn into battles, and this one barely gets any time in the manga and anime. I don't know how they choose them. Krillin and Gohan escape with Dende using the solar flare to blind Midoriya. It's a rare moment of cleverness in this chaos, and they disappear into the shadows. And Dende, he doesn't know it yet, but he'll be part of their lives forever.
Yes. Thank you for saving me.
So, what's your name?
I'm Dende.
Shift back to Vegeta again, and this time it's personal. Midoriya could become a problem if he teams up with someone else, so Vegeta cuts it off at the root. He intercepts him alone. Midoriya is cocky and overconfident, just like he was back in the Bardock DLC. He let Bardock live because he didn't want to check on his own work. He underestimates everybody. And now, he's prey. Vegeta casually tells him,
Don't you see? This is what happens when you get too cocky and slack off.
strange words from a self-proclaimed elite, the same man who once believed power was predetermined and that training will never let you get to the level of royalty. Goku left a mark in Piccolo, and it's shown here in Vegeta that it's also been planted, just further down in the soil. Midoriya begs for mercy and drops the truth. Frieza destroyed planet Vegeta, not an asteroid. Frieza feared the Saiyans, feared their rise, and feared what they could become, so he snuffed them out before they could even challenge him, and he spared Vegeta, just to keep him close as a pet, a project. But Vegeta, he's not looking for justice, he's not interested in legacy, he's just angry. Angry that he let himself be powerless, that he lived as a tool for Frieza and his men. From the beginning, Vegeta wanted freedom, and now he's close, so close to the Dragon Balls, so close to something that should have been his, the universe.
Frieza's terrified of the limitless potential of a Saiyan's power.
He kills Midoriya without blinking, but this wasn't for his people, this was for himself. The Saiyan's genetic plot buff, tying so well to the iconic quote, "That which does not kill us makes us stronger," fits too perfectly here. If there's one quality from that brand of philosophy the Saiyans embody, it's the will to power, the belief that a being's main drive is to exert their will onto others, which certainly fits in line with Vegeta's desire to defeat Frieza and become immortal in order to rule the universe. This includes a desire for cruelty, as it's a demonstration of power. And now for the first time in his life, Vegeta flies solo, no master, no Frieza, just plan. Steal the Dragon Balls. Take control of his fate. While Earth's warriors scramble for a way forward, the fallen arrive on King Kai's planet. Piccolo, Yamcha, Ten Shenhan, and Chaozu, all of them lost in the battle with Saiyans, but death in Dragon Ball is never the end, it's just a detour, a chance to become something greater. King Kai prepares them for training, supposedly the same Goku received, only harder, and from the other world they reach out to Goku. Goku's smiling, but the news that he has to share with them is very grim. There are more enemies now stronger than Vegeta, far more ruthless. If they thought Raditz or Nappa were dangerous, they're not ready for what's on Namek. Goku trains hard, 100 times Earth's gravity, bones screaming, muscle tearing, sweat pooling, but that's who he is, always climbing, always chasing the next ceiling. But even now, King Kai is nervous. He checks the universe for disturbances and finds something cold, something unnatural. Frieza. The very name shakes him. He warns Goku not to go near him, not now, not ever, because Frieza doesn't defeat opponents, he erases them. Meanwhile, back on Namek, Vegeta is smiling, and for the first time in his life, he's ahead. The scouters are gone, Frieza's forces are flying blind, and him? He has new tricks. Earth gave him more than bruises, it gave him tools. He can feel energy now, he can hide his own, and with that edge, he finds a Namekian village untouched by Frieza's men. We don't see the carnage that happens. Gohan and Krillin do feel the key signatures. All vanish in an instant. Entire lives erased by Vegeta's fury. Dende, scared, asks for help. Gohan and Krillin try to explain what's going on, that Vegeta once fought them and that he nearly destroyed everything. Dende tells him of someone who might help, Grand Elder Guru, the creator of the Namekian Dragon Balls and the guardian of a Dragon Ball that Frieza hasn't found yet. But Guru lives far from there.
even flying the journey will take them time. Krillin steps forward. He decides to go with Dende alone, trusting Gohan to stay behind and protect Bulma. See, Krillin has lost before. He's lost friends, battles, time after time, but he never loses his faith. The game keeps support characters on a bench a lot. Krillin's importance on Namek should have made him playable. Maybe it was a design limitation, maybe the devs didn't want to open that door. Still, it's a missed opportunity for someone who did a lot on this planet. Back with Vegeta, he moves with brutal precision. Zarbon's energy is nearby and Vegeta knows what's coming, so he hides the Dragon Ball, drops it into the ocean, far from the eyes of scavengers. Another tactical aspect that our Saiyan Prince has been taking up here, but he wants revenge. Targeting Zarbon and taking off. But Vegeta finds Zarbon alone and it's perfect. He just killed Doria, now he's clearing the board. The match begins and narratively this isn't about power, it's more about identity. Vegeta enters riding high on dominance, convinced his strength is the absolute among the Frieza Force. Zarbon, elegant and composed, plays it cool. In his own arrogance, Vegeta makes a fatal mistake. He lets Zarbon transform, not out of strategy but ego, and in that moment the fight changes.
After all that, you couldn't lay a finger on me! You've improved. I'll give you that much at least. But you don't seem to realize the mistake you've just made. You have awakened my true power. You've got quite a sense of humor. Go on, show me your power! You are going to regret this, Vegeta. Prepare to be amazed by my glorious transformation!
We don't get to battle the new form of Zarbon just yet. The gap is too wide, the screen flashes white, and Vegeta's taken off to the ship. But what he doesn't know, but the worst thing you can do to a Saiyan is let them live. Elsewhere, Krillin arrives at Guru's. He's given a Dragon Ball, but before he leaves, Guru places a hand on his shoulder, and it's more than just the power he unlocks, it's a sense of acknowledgement. For so long, Krillin's been standing beside Titans, overlooked, underrated, even by himself. But here in the quiet halls of a dying planet, a god sees him, not as a sidekick, but as a warrior, someone worth believing in. Echo this again, Krillin should have been playable. His growth deserves to be felt through the gameplay, not just through cutscenes, but even with that, this moment has a significant value for the fans of Krillin. Back with Gohan, he takes the radar and flies towards the village. Vegeta attacked. He just expected to retrieve the Dragon Ball, but what he found instead was one of the bleakest sights this game has ever shown. A village in ruin. Lifeless, silent Namekians, adults, elders, children, scattered like debris, and this is what Vegeta is, and this is what the Saiyans are. Vegeta wakes up on the ship the moment he's fully healed, and he breaks loose, makes a distraction, and steals the remaining Dragon Balls, flies out of Frieza's ship before anyone can stop him. Frieza's furious, commands Zarbon to follow, but underneath that rage is fear. He's starting to feel it now, the legend, the whisper among the Super Saiyan. It's close, closer than he thought, and he can feel it coming, and if he doesn't act soon, someone else is going to take the top of the pyramid.
It would be quite bothersome if I had to deal with a Super Saiyan. It seems it may be time to call the Ginyu Force.
Krillin, flying high off his new power, forgets to suppress his energy, and Vegeta picks it up, but so does Zarbon, picking up on Vegeta, and now the race is on. I've talked before about how Kakarot sometimes uses the gameplay to make you feel fear, with Gohan's early wilderness training. But I feel like they missed something here. Open world chase, something to make the moment feel desperate as it is. We've seen it happen before in previous games like the Shin Budokai series. Instead, the tension is mostly in the cutscene. Vegeta reaches Krillin first, demands a Dragon Ball, and Krillin has no choice but to comply. But right before he hands it over, Zarbon shows up, and now we finally get to fight the transformed state. And my god, this boss fight is annoying. I keep saying that when it comes, each villain keeps one-upping the one before. His attacks aren't just powerful, they're really disruptive. The shooting star arrow forces a constant dodge movement while he chases you down. If he grabs you, he suplexes you faster than you can say. It's not fun, but it's really fitting, right? He's not here to spar, he's here to dominate, he's here to kill you. He wants to get back to Frieza and tell him that he won. But that philosophy hits one more time. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Remember when I clung to life by a thread? I bet you regret healing me now, don't you? Something to keep in mind. We Saiyans grow stronger every time we're brought to the brink of death.
Vegeta doesn't hesitate and defeats this new Zarbon, takes the ball, and leaves.
believing now that he has all 7 in his possession. But Gohan found that one ball that was stashed and is already on his way back to Bulma's. They cross paths, and it's funny. The game skips the moment where Vegeta kicks Gohan in the stomach, likely because we just saw a field full of dead Namekians. A strange bit of censorship, but I understand. It's probably too much in one go. It returns to the cave after finding that the ball he had hidden is no longer there and the Earthlings have already moved. Krillin takes Gohan to Guru, and what follows is something almost sacred here. A conversation between power and potential. Guru senses something unique in Gohan, not just strength, but clarity and compassion, the will to fight for others and not just for himself. This is going to be something that helps grow Gohan, but also will cause his own downfall. Because of that heart, Guru unlocks his potential. And this change is immediate. Vegeta, sensing the surge, mistakes Gohan's power for Goku. He's assuming this power level is what Goku would have had post Zenkai boost after the battle on Earth. It's beyond what Vegeta would expect from a child. This kid is now stronger than Bardock, stronger than Goku during the 23rd tournament, stronger than the warriors who saved him not even a year ago. But before Gohan can act, Guru stops them. 5 power levels are entering Namek's atmosphere. The Ginyu Force have arrived. And now for the first time, Vegeta acts out of urgency, out of fear. He doesn't care about Frieza, he can avoid him with the Ginyu Force, there's no dodging them. They'll kill everyone. He explains that the only way around this is to give him immortality. And this is where we find out that Purunga grants 3 wishes. If they work together, he can have his wish and the Earthlings can bring their friends back.
So they've finally arrived.
Guys, slow down! Ginyu! Together we are the Ginyu Force!
They take off to go to the Dragon Ball's locations, but before they can even summon the dragon, it's too late. The Ginyu Force already have their location. It's also here where it dawned on me, even if they did get the Dragon Balls, they don't have the password to unlock them. Dende, Guru, or Nail, we failed to tell them that there's a password there. The fight starts here. We go with Guldo first. Gohan and Krillin take him on, while I still wish Krillin had a deeper moveset here. The boss mechanics are actually pretty fun to fight. Guldo attacks with tree spears that stagger unless dodged correctly, and has a time freeze ability that can trap you if you're careless, though the conditions for it seems to happen at random. We take him down, but this time Vegeta doesn't step in to finish him like the anime. The Earthlings do it alone. A strange change, but maybe a practical one. Next up is Recoome. Vegeta, Krillin, and Gohan take him on together. His fight move is more traditional, swaying ki blast, unpredictable movements. He's not clever, he's just relentless. I've never been a fan of fighting these guys in the Dragon Ball games, Recoome especially. Always felt like just filler. But Kakarot makes up for it with a really beautiful cutscenes here.
All right! That was a good warm-up. Now, let's see what you can really do.
Vegeta hits him with everything he has, and it doesn't even crack his confidence, just blows off his armor. We swap back to what Frieza's doing with Ginyu on the ship, and the Emperor is growing impatient. They can't summon the dragon, they need a password. They use the scouters to realize there's a very few amount of Namekians left, and Frieza heads off to where Guru was at. Meanwhile, something on the planet shifts. After a brutal gravity training, Goku's finally arrived on Namek, and the tone changes instantly. The battered survivors, Vegeta, Krillin, and Gohan are barely standing after Recoom's assault. Recoome charges up one final blast and Gohan once again is frozen. On Earth he was a child caught in war. Here he's a warrior outmatched by a beast. At the moment that all hope feels lost, someone jumps in front of him again. But not to sacrifice himself. He's here to save everything. Goku lands and in a flash everything is swapped around. He flicks this blast like it was nothing, like swatting a fly. He gives Gohan the senzu bean and tells everyone to stand back while he takes on Recoome. The fight ends with one of the most beautifully animated cutscenes so far.
All right, I think it's finally time to show you my best stuff. Recoome! Ultra Fighting! Get ready for it! Bomber!
Sorry. You were wide open, so I just went for it.
One elbow, one strike, Raccoon drops and a mountain behind him shatters to pieces. Something so powerful, but Goku's calm and gentle. Almost now everyone is watching Goku. Vegeta staring in disbelief, and for the first time he wonders if the legend is real. Is this the Super Saiyan? Goku moves on to Burter and Jace. The fight lacks any special mechanics. Jace just throws a Crusher Ball when you're not locked on to him. It can be annoying, but that's about it. It would have been cool to see a purple comet cutscene. Burter goes down. Jace escapes to find Ginyu. Vegeta scoffs at Goku for letting him go and retracts his statement. Maybe he's not the Super Saiyan after all. He's too kind-hearted. Goku doesn't even understand what he's talking about. Vegeta still believes Frieza's too strong and he already has his wish, but Krillin notes the sky hasn't turned dark like the Dragon Balls on Earth, so it's probably not happening yet. Goku and Vegeta head to go to Frieza, but before they can even get to him, Ginyu and Jace return. And Vegeta sees his chance again. He bolts and abandons Goku. He never cared about this fight. He's only here to get his Dragon Balls. He's here about strategy. He's using whatever one-up he can get. Goku takes on Ginyu and Jace alone. Again, the battle is lackluster, I guess. Ginyu doesn't have any special mechanics. And Jace just throws Crusher Balls when you're not locked on. It's just annoying. Ginyu senses Goku's strength and thinks he is a Super Saiyan, but when Goku offers mercy, that illusion breaks. This isn't a monster from the legends that they had told. This is just a man, and that's when Ginyu swaps bodies. The tale of the Super Saiyan was shared among battle-hardened Saiyans, thinking to be a Super Saiyan, you have to be just in that realm. Compassion was a weakness to them. To be kind-hearted, you were thrown off to the side. It makes sense why the legend would be for the warriors. Also makes sense why none of them ever achieved it. We're not talking about that S-cell nonsense here. Let's throw that idea out the window. Elsewhere, Guru sends Denny to the Earthlings with a password to Karunga. On the way, he flies past Frieza. Frieza lets him live. It's a mistake he'll regret and something that continuously happens to him throughout this arc. Mistakes coming back to bite him. Back at Guru's, Nail prepares to stall Frieza. The Earthlings reach the Dragon Balls, but Ginyu in Goku's body arrives first. Krillin and Gohan believe that Goku used the power of friendship again to befriend Jace, took out Ginyu. But then the real Goku appears in Ginyu's body, and everything clicks. It would have been cool here to play as Ginyu, Goku, floating across the sea, barely any energy and holding up and coughing while making little comments, but whatever. But the body swap fiasco happens here. Vegeta rejoins them, kills Jace with a single beam, and his power had shot up again from that last fight. He was barely able to handle Raccoon, and here he's handling Jace with no problem. Ginyu ends up in a frog, and the Ginyu Force is now done. Or are they? Goku never killed any of them, right? Vegeta never had a cutscene where he jumped in and killed anyone. Oh, we thought that Raccoon and Burter were just knocked out. Did Goku actually kill them here? I guess maybe a side quest will tell us in the future. Goku in his body again is too injured to get up and fight, so he's placed in a healing pod, and the others prepare for what comes next.
You know, there's a concept that always fascinates me in storytelling. Retroactive continuity, or retcon. Sometimes it gets a bad rap, implying a forced change or a contradiction to what we thought we knew. But then there are moments, often through what we call lore expansion or world building, where these later additions don't just fit, they enrich the entire narrative, making it much more impactful. And this is precisely why I chose to revisit Dragon Ball Z Kakarot the way that I have. Because full transparency, like I said in the first episode, I never got past the Frieza arc on my first playthrough. I stopped exactly at this point. Sure, I knew the Bardock story, but playing through it, experiencing those meticulously crafted DLCs that led directly back into the main game, something fundamentally shifted. I felt a deeper, more personal investment in the game, almost as if these added stories finally unlocked its true emotional core. But now with all that carefully curated build-up, it's time to jump back in. And can Kakarot truly land this arc after all the new context we were given? The race to Dende has begun, but true to any good RPG and classic Dragon Ball, we're given a side quest, not just any side quest. A fast fetch quest to a very familiar, almost pure-hearted face from the Bardock DLC. Remember Frieza's Chef Malone? Now a rogue member, he needs our help gathering ingredients for a dish. It's a small little detail, but when the fruit he gives us suddenly spikes his ki, causing our team to shudder at the thought of another fight, only for Malone to casually crack open a super hard nut for juice. You know, this guy is still good. He gave Bardock the heads up years ago, and here he is still doing good by offering our heroes a revitalizing drink. A subtle nod, a quiet continuity that reinforces the unexpected pockets of decency even within a universe ravaged by tyranny. We eventually meet up with our green friend Dende and manage to sneak past Vegeta to summon Porunga. A desperate plea reaches Gohan from the other world. Piccolo, speaking through King Kai, tells him to bring him back first. Right here to Namek. But Porunga, true to the capricious nature of magical wishes, acts like a monkey paw. Piccolo is just randomly tossed onto Namek, nowhere near our heroes. Piccolo, the reincarnated Demon King, now stands on his birth planet a new man. The seeds of compassion Goku planted in him during that 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai, the ones that allowed him his redemption arc to even start, have blossomed into something profound like a Namekian Ajisa tree. He's here standing on sacred ground, ready to save the friends who changed him. But before Vegeta can even get the third wish of his coveted immortality, tragedy strikes. Grand Elder Guru, the benevolent patriarch, finally succumbs to his immense stress and despair inflicted by Frieza's invading forces. His life force winks out, and with it, the Dragon Balls turn to stone. Just then, Frieza appears, exploding with a furious rage. Having been blindsided and denied his ultimate wish, the moment brilliantly exposes one of Frieza's most glaring deficits, a recurring theme throughout his character in Kakarot. He is so consumed by his own power and status that he's utterly blindsided by it. He constantly lets smaller creatures go by, deeming them beneath him, and consistently backfires him. He wasn't thorough enough, failing to destroy every Saiyan like he intended, inadvertently allowing enough time for Goku to reach Earth and become his greatest threat. He let Vegeta live to serve him, keeping him a constant joke and a slap in his face, never anticipating the prince's own desperate will to power. And here on Namek, he massacred countless Namekians before even figuring out how to use the Dragon Balls, then inexplicably let the small Dende live, even after knowing he was flying straight towards the ship where the Dragon Balls were, despite the ominous silence from the Ginyu Force. These aren't just oversights, they're glaring flaws both from his boundless arrogance, the very traits which ultimately become his undoing.
This is a first, to be sure. No one has ever been foolish enough to make a mockery of me on such a grand scale. You worms will pay for this! I'm going to make your deaths long and painful! None of you will escape my wrath! Prepare to experience hell!
The game immediately thrusts us into the heart of conflict, skipping Frieza's first form almost entirely in the main story. This means the only time we actually truly battle his initial, almost serene form is back in that Bardock DLC, where he's chilling in his space pod, a cosmic overlord casually orchestrating genocide. Instead, the game jumps us straight into his terrifying second form, a monstrous display that instantly communicates the immense difference in power we have. This impact is brutal and immediate. Frieza impales Krillin with a horn, a gut-wrenching visual that sends our hero crashing down to the Namekian surface.
Now then, who shall I send to hell first? How about you?
A classic Dragon Ball moment of shocking violence, a visceral reminder of Frieza's cruelty that sets the tone for the escalating horror. In response, Gohan, witnessing his friend's apparent demise, ignites a subtle but potent rage boost, finally allowing us to take on Frieza. While this form may lack truly unique combat mechanics, what it lacks in gameplay variety, it makes up for with stunning, impactful cutscenes that highlight Frieza's grotesque power and casual sadism. Meanwhile, we check back in with Piccolo, rushing towards the unfolding carnage. He soars over the desolate, destroyed villages of his home planet in a poignant visual that underscores the scale of Frieza's devastation. Then he notices a faint key signature, Nail, the last Namekian warrior laying on the ground. With his dying breath, reveals a desperate, ancient Namekian secret. He tells Piccolo that despite his formidable training, he will fail against Frieza alone, but there is still hope. Namekians can absorb one another, becoming one. Piccolo's fusion with Nail and Namek marks a profound turning point in his character arc, a seismic shift in both strength and spirit, and stands in stark contrast to the being he once was as the Demon King Piccolo. And even during the 23rd Budokai, back when Piccolo was a force of pure vengeance, isolated and consumed by hunger for domination, he fought not for others but to impose his will, to finish what evil half has started. But back then, at that tournament ground, through already showing glimpse of the growth Goku's mercy had sparked, he was still cold and calculating, unwilling to see beyond himself, viewing allies as weaknesses and mercy as foolishness. Gohan, through sheer struggle and an undeniable bond they forged in the Saiyan Saga, had begun to tear that veil away from his eyes, and coming to his devastated home planet ripped it up even further. When he finally agrees to fuse with the dying Nail, he witnesses a fundamental and almost sacred transformation. He willingly sets aside his immense pride and fiercely guarded independence, embracing the radical idea that unity, not solitude, is the true path to strength. The fusion grants him an enormous, almost unimaginable power boost, enough to challenge Frieza's terrifying second form. But the deeper, more significant transformation lies in his spirit. By absorbing Nail's memories, convictions, and the collective history of the Namekian people, Piccolo inherits a profound sense of legacy and responsibility. He's no longer the destroyer who once terrorized Earth, nor the distant rival of Goku. He becomes a protector, shaped by newfound compassion, a fierce sense of purpose, and the weight of Namekian history. This act of fusion of trust, of surrendering individuality for a greater good, is something the old Piccolo would have rejected entirely.
Fine. I'll do it. Make Frieza suffer for what he did to our people. Oh, I'm planning on it. This is unreal. This power, it's unbelievably incredible. So this is what he was talking about. I'm on my way, Gohan.
Meanwhile, is taking full control of the battlefield, and it's truly being shown to us how utterly terrified Vegeta is becoming. His cold, calculating exterior, usually impenetrable, begins to crack under the immense pressure of Frieza's escalating power. It isn't until Krillin, miraculously back on his feet after being revived by Dende, returns to save Gohan that Vegeta notices something crucial. The young Namek possesses a healing ability, and now even Gohan is back up with a significant power boost. The very Saiyan biology Vegeta has been exploiting this entire trip on Namek, the Zenkai boost, where pain turns into power, can be harnessed if they have Dende. He finally sees a path, a desperate gamble to turn the tides of battle. A dramatic entrance, fitting for his newfound power. The Aura Farmer is here. The fight initially swings dramatically in Piccolo's favor, and a true testament to his fusion with Nail. But Frieza, the cruel showman, always has more forms up his sleeve. He transforms into an unsettlingly muscular third form, one of my personal favorites, a true design of Marvel for its sheer grotesque alienness. As a massive fan of horror movies, I wish this form stayed here just a little bit longer. And now we're finally starting to get unique attacks again in this one, making the combat feel fresh and dangerous. I'm insanely happy they included the mini finger beams as a special attack, a perfect detail capturing his sadism. While our heroes desperately fight Frieza in the background, a desperate Vegeta, his pride shattered, approaches Krillin. He makes an unthinkable request to almost kill him so he can exploit the Saiyan biology, recover, gain the Zenkai boost potent enough to take down Frieza. For a victory obliges, but Dende, the innocent Namekian who witnessed unimaginable horrors, refused to help Vegeta. Remembering the countless Namekian innocents the Saiyan Prince slaughtered. A powerful moment highlighting the moral lines that some, unlike Vegeta, will not cross, even in the face of overwhelming evil. Frieza begins his terrifying transformation to his final form, of being a sleek, horrifying perfection. Our heroes, desperate for any edge, manage to talk Dende into helping Vegeta. Upon awakening, Vegeta is convinced he feels a power far beyond anything he's ever experienced, stronger than any Saiyan recorded in his time. In his mind, in the moment of desperation and soaring ki, he believes he's the Super Saiyan. But Frieza, the cruelest showman in the galaxy, immediately shatters that illusion. The instant he completes his transformation, he mercilessly executes Dende. Shocking, brutal move that reinforces Frieza's absolute disregard for life. This act directly counters his earlier deficit of letting Dende live, showcasing his capacity for learning, albeit in the most sadistic way possible. The game in these moments is trying the absolute best to deliver one-for-one shots of the anime and manga now more than ever, and the subtle facial expressions and chasing silence before the next blow. Frieza himself looks absolutely amazing in this form. His model here simply cannot be any better. His iconic, terrifying design translates perfectly into Kakarot's visual style, a true testament to the source material. Vegeta, fueled by his delusion and newfound power, steps up to challenge Frieza. Their fight in Kakarot is a frantic, desperate dance, echoing the aggressive, beam-heavy style of his early fights, even reminiscent of the intense, if ultimately doomed to struggle in the Bardock DLC. Albeit to a lesser extent without the asteroid-tossing, planet-shattering attacks. But the real meat is truly profound narrative impact lies not in the combat mechanics, but in the unfolding tragedy outside the flurry of the blows. Vegeta's mindset during his climatic battle with Frieza on potent, volatile desperation, delusion, and ultimately crushing realization. After being healed by Dende and driven by a lifetime of insurmountable pride, Vegeta boldly proclaims himself the legendary Super Saiyan and confronts Frieza only to have every single attack effortlessly countered. Vegeta unleashes his strong ass capable of obliterating planets, yet it's kicked aside like nothing. Humiliating, definitive dismissal.
Impossible! This can't be happening! I am a Super Saiyan! Go to hell, Frieza!
This moment is absolutely critical. It's the fulcrum of Vegeta's original character arc, as Vegeta watches his ultimate offensive effort fail as the overwhelming, unyielding power of Frieza crushes his every hope. He's overcome with dread. The cracks in his indomitable Saiyan spirit, long simmering beneath a facade of arrogance, finally gave way, and he begins to cry. Raw, desperate tears at the shocking devastation and admission that he has lost the will to fight.
Overcome with hopelessness and frustration, he was reduced to tears. The mighty prince of the warrior race had lost his will to fight.
If you wish to save him, feel free to try at any time.
This scene in the gut-wrenching narrative beat it underscores serves as a profound, undeniable turning point. For the first time, Prince of Saiyans is laid bare. His pride falters, his strength proves utterly insufficient, and every single one of his emotional walls collapses. The importance of this scene lies in the immense symbolic weight. Vegeta, who had ultimately long defined himself solely by unmatched pride and absolute dominance, is rendered utterly powerless, not just physically but far more importantly mentally and spiritually, forcing him to confront his absolute limits in the most humiliating way possible. And then a new hope dawns. Goku awakens in a healing pod, a silent, determined force. Without a moment's hesitation, he rockets towards the cataclysm unfolding on Namek before him, ready to face Frieza. And once he arrives, we're treated to another spectacular scene that Kakarot absolutely nails. Goku fluidly dodged a fatal cheap shot from Frieza, a clear sign of his elevated power, and then with effortless grace sends the tyrant flying back with a single devastating blow. Vegeta, battered and broken, witnessed a profound difference in power in such a short time. Goku, in his eyes, has not just surpassed but flown past every form Frieza had up against them. He's standing toe-to-toe with the monster who tormented them all. In a moment of twisted triumph, Vegeta laughs, a hollow, bitter sound, telling Frieza he's now up against the fabled Super Saiyan. But Frieza, ever the cold executioner, responds with brutal finality, blasting Vegeta through the heart. Yet before life fully leaves him, Vegeta gathers every last ounce of strength for a final desperate plea to Goku. He begs Goku to shed his kind-hearted nature, to abandon mercy, and then in a raw, heart-wrenching confession, he reveals the full horror of what we saw. Frieza blowing up their planet. Up until that point, Vegeta had been portrayed as a proud, ruthless, and emotionally detached living embodiment of pure Saiyan arrogance. But in the agonizing moment, we finally see him vulnerable, shedding tears not just for his own impending demise, but the annihilation of his entire race. He pleads with Goku to avenge the Saiyans, not for revenge's sake, but to stop the monster who used and discarded them with such casual cruelty. This confession from the Prince of Saiyan himself reveals that beneath Vegeta's impenetrable pride is a man deeply haunted by trauma and manipulation.
Kakarot, listen. Our home planet, Planet Vegeta, wasn't destroyed by a meteor. It was Frieza. We Saiyans were his enforcers. We followed his every order. Your parents, my father, the king, they were all murdered by that monster. I beg you, Kakarot, please defeat Frieza. Please, I beg of you. He must die by Saiyan hands.
Frieza's murder of the Saiyans was something Vegeta always knew but had buried under layers of ingrained loyalty and survival instincts. In telling Goku in this final desperate breath, Vegeta finally let go of his lifelong pride. He admits the unspeakable horror of what Frieza did, and in a profound, almost sacred way, entrusts Goku with the very legacy of their people. It's powerful because it humanizes Vegeta for the very first time, reframing the entire conflict. It's no longer just about power or survival, it's about justice, about legacy, and about the crushing burden of history. Goku, despite being raised on Earth and being astoundingly distant from Saiyan culture, instantly respects the immense weight off of Vegeta's suffering and the monstrous destruction of their entire race. He doesn't fight Frieza for more vengeance, but for justice, because he now understands that Frieza represents something far worse than the overwhelming power King Kai told him about. He embodies cruelty, genocide, and a calculated manipulation. This moment marks profound shift in Goku's role. Up until now, he's primarily been a hero, driven by a desire to protect his friends or just to test the limits of his strength. But Vegeta's dying plea places a heavier, more ancestral burden directly onto his shoulders. Goku, the low-class Saiyan, the nobody in Frieza's eyes, becomes the spiritual successor of a fallen race, not because of status, but because of his pure heart, reinforcing a core, undeniable truth about Goku. He's not inherently heroic because he yearns to be a savior, he chooses to be one when it matters most. In honoring Vegeta's final tearful wish, Goku adopts a legacy he never asked for, but chooses to carry on, transforming it into something new. And suddenly, Bardock's vision from so long ago is now coming back, and we're going to play it out. Frieza's fight in Kakarot is fun. He genuinely feels like a brick wall that will send you flying with punishing blows. Side note, my mod inexplicably stopped working here, and honestly I'm kind of glad it did. It forced me not to be so aggressive and actually respect Frieza's power, adding a layer of desperation to my gameplay. I still don't know what happened to it, and I'm probably just going to play the rest of the game without it. Goku tries upping the Kaioken to an extreme degree, unleashing a devastating Kamehameha on Frieza.
This has been fun. It's been quite some time since I've exerted myself this much.
Man, I'm in trouble. If he's serious about the half-power thing, then even the Kaioken times 10 isn't gonna be enough. I should be able to hold my own if I push it to times 20, though. My body might not be able to handle it, but I've gotta try.
It does nothing but tick him off. There's one final desperate idea left, the Spirit Bomb. While Goku charges the immense energy, Piccolo, ever the evolving ally, leaps into action. Most games make this moment a protracted battle, and I'm genuinely glad Kakarot didn't do that. I feel like it would have completely dragged out this already monumental final part more than was needed. Piccolo's arc truly culminates here as he selflessly helps protect Goku, shielding him from Frieza's wrath. Now, I know I talk a lot about Piccolo's growth. He's not even my favorite character in the series, which is really funny, but even in these subtle moments truly drive it home when you're paying attention. Piccolo is putting complete faith into someone else's strength, something the old Piccolo, especially the vengeful Demon King Piccolo, would never have done. It powerfully shows his transformation from a lone warrior into a true selfless ally, someone who understands that survival and victory isn't always about raw power. They're about trust, cooperation, protecting what truly matters. The Spirit Bomb is unleashed, a colossal orb of borrowed energy, and Frieza is utterly engulfed. The cast gather together, the tensions momentarily broken, ready to set off and enjoy their hard-won victory until the unthinkable happens.
Mr. Piccolo!
You worms. I'm going to eradicate every last one of you!
Krillin! No! Let him go, Frieza!
Goku! And now for the little brat.
Dare you! You're gonna pay for that! What?
Dad?
Gohan, take Piccolo with you and head back to Earth now! Hurry, Gohan! Before I lose what little sense of reason I have left!
Okay.
What's going on? What's happened to him? No, it can't be!
I think I know what's going on. My dad finally did it. He's become a Super Saiyan.
I've had enough. Now I'm mad, Frieza!
You will know your place, you filthy Saiyan!
It's a scene we all know so very well, one that resonates through generations of fans, an emotional climax of Saiyan history, of Goku's personal journey, and of legacy that began before he even landed on Earth. In that one moment, Krillin's body exploding, his death hanging in the air, the sky trembling, lightning crackling violently around him as if every single thread converges. Bardock's haunting vision of his son standing defiantly against Frieza becomes a terrifying, glorious reality. The proud warrior race Frieza tried so desperately to erase roars back to life, not through vengeance or hatred, but through pure, compassionate heart of a Saiyan raised on Earth. Goku, once mocked as a low-class nobody, now embodies the true potential of his people, not in the cold, violent legacy of the past, but a new path forward born from unimaginable compassion, profound pain, and a relentless growth. His transformation is grief, love, and destiny colliding in a singular, cataclysmic explosion. The ghost of Bardock, the silent cries of fallen Saiyans, and the unshakable soul of a boy who only ever wanted to protect his friends. In that instant, the myth becomes flesh. The last hope of a shattered race become their future, not by carrying their hatred, but by truly rising above it. A moment this beautiful, this planet-shakingly powerful, deserves a beautiful cutscene that's been given to us countless times over the years. We've seen this scene redone in game after game, but not once did they truly handle how viscerally powerful it was. Until now. Goku's muscles tense, the ground trembles with earthquakes, the world itself seems to buckle under the strain, and just like that, the Saiyan of legend, the Super Saiyan, is born. The battle starts, now we truly dominate in power. Goku feels like the brick house now. Nothing hurts him at all. Frieza lands blows, but I barely lose any health. The gameplay also ramps up for how damn annoying Frieza is, but it's precisely because of how desperate he's become. He's doing everything he can, thrashing blindly. It's a nice, subtle change in the AI behavior that perfectly reflects his spiraling fear, and I'm so glad it was chosen.
You can destroy entire planets, but you can't take down one single person?
What are you?
You mean you haven't figured it out yet? I'm the Saiyan who's come all the way from Earth to defeat you! I am the warrior you've heard of in legends. I am pure of heart and awakened by fury, that's what I am. I am the Super Saiyan, Son Goku!
Goku, now the Super Saiyan, fully embraces his Saiyan heritage, not as a tool of violence or vengeance, but he bridges the gap between two worlds, the formidable blood of a race built on conquest and the pure heart of a man raised on compassion. By claiming to be the Saiyan from Earth, Goku fundamentally redefines what that title means. He isn't a brutal warrior Frieza feared, nor the pride-driven prince Vegeta once was. He's entirely something new. A Saiyan shaped by empathy, by devastating loss, and ultimately by conscious choice. Frieza, who destroyed the Saiyans to prevent rebellion, now faces the very thing he tried to erase, not just a Super Saiyan, but a man who fights for peace, not merely power. Frieza, now utterly terrified of what stands before him, finally realizes the fundamental faults we've been talking about, and how his arrogance and blindness continually caused his own downfall. In a final desperate act, he tries to blow up Namek, but even in the end, his boundless arrogance still holds him back. Because of this, the Earth's Dragon Balls are used to bring back the Namekians and Purunga. Now sends everyone on the planet except for Goku and Frieza to Earth, leaving Goku to finish off the monster in his 100% power form. We get a final thrilling fight with Frieza, complete with a great in-game cutscene. He has a few new frantic moves, nothing too wild, but still a very enjoyable match. Goku prepares to leave, offering Frieza a chance, but Frieza, consumed by pride, throws out a Destructo Disc-like move that ultimately chops himself in half, again reinforcing that he truly is his own worst enemy.
Watch out! Get down! Get down!
How can this be?
Goku's decision to spare Frieza on this dying planet Namek is one of the most powerful character moments in Dragon Ball, and it speaks volumes about both Goku and Frieza, not just as combatants, but as fundamentally different beings. From the moment Goku tells Frieza that the match is over to the final blast that ends their battle, we witness a deep exploration of mercy, pride, and tragic consequence of refusing to change. When Goku turns his back and offers Frieza energy to survive, he's doing something profoundly rare for a warrior in the middle of a life or death struggle. He's choosing compassion over domination. Despite everything Frieza has done, genocide, torture, the murder of Goku's best friend, and the destruction of this planet, Goku still gives him a chance to live. This isn't naivety, it's a deliberate, almost divine act of mercy from someone who has truly ascended the Saiyan instinct for revenge. For Goku, the battle is already won. Frieza's been broken, humiliated, and stripped of his power. To continue would fill with cruelty. A descent into the very malice he despises, and more importantly, to kill someone who can't fight back would make Goku no better than the monster he just defeated. But what makes this moment so enduringly important is what happens next. Frieza rejects that mercy, consumed by insurmountable pathological pride and utterly unable to accept defeat. He uses the last flicker of the energy that Goku gave him to launch one final cowardly attack, and in the instant, this character contrast is made undeniable, etched forever into the bedrock of Dragon Ball.
Please, have mercy. Please, have mercy. I beg you.
How can you beg for mercy? How many people begged you for mercy before you slaughtered them? How many?
I beg you.
I've given you just a little bit of my energy. That's all you get. You're on your own.
Greatest being in the universe. And that is why you must die by my hand!
You fool!
What?
Goku represents growth, humility, and hope here, while Frieza remains stagnant, bitter, and tragically self-destructive. It's a devastating reflection of how some beings, even when shown grace, will tragically choose their own destruction rather than face their failures. When Goku retaliates with a final, decisive blast, it's not an act of vengeance, it's a moment of profound, regretful necessity. You see it in his face and his tone, feel the sorrow in his actions. He gave Frieza every chance to walk away, to survive, to evolve, but Frieza chose hatred, and Goku with a heavy heart delivers the inevitable consequence. This moment cements their opposing ideologies for all time. Goku fights to protect and grow, Frieza fights only to dominate and destroy. Goku's mercy wasn't weakness, it was his greatest strength, and it made Frieza's ultimate downfall all the more poetic. In sparing his enemy, Goku proved he was greater than just a fighter. He was a man who had learned from the pain and refused to let anger shape his past. And throwing that gift away, Frieza sealed the fate of a tyrant too proud to change. Planet Namek is destroyed, a cosmic funeral pyre for a brutal saga. Our heroes, thanks to the Namekian Dragon Ball, successfully wish everyone back to life while waiting for Goku to return back to Earth from the now obliterated planet. This was a truly beautiful rendition of the Namek Saga. I couldn't have been more ecstatic to get through it and witness Kakarot's take on such a classical, pivotal arc in anime history. The development team clearly poured their love into what they did here, and it absolutely shines through every cinematic moment. While I do think the first half felt a bit drawn out at times, and there were a few fights that seemed unnecessary, overall, it was an incredibly enjoyable experience and arguably the best a video game has ever retold this arc. I'm truly glad I started this game chronologically. It genuinely made the time I had with it much more enjoyable and impactful. Next time, we're experiencing a significant time skip and catching up with our heroes 13 years in the future to see what challenges await them. Oh, that's not good.